Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today we are discussing a 1967 movie starring the late, great Sidney Poitier, all set in London. We are talking To Sir with Love, a tale of a coloured teacher coming to a rundown school with what do you call them? Hard done by kids, what need a lesson in life, and he's teaching to do it. Mr. Thacker is the teacher to do it. So we'll go over to Susan with her opening thoughts on this movie. Have you seen this one before, Susan?
Yeah.
Okay, because I haven't. I've heard all about it. I thought I had seen it. I'm watching it again today. I thought, no, I've never seen this.
And it's straight. It's something that's really relevant right now because Sidney Poitier has just passed away recently, and Lulu is just ubiquitous and anything to do with it, absolutely fabulous. So I really like it. I saw it the first time about I guess maybe 20 years ago, maybe more. It's a good movie. It's got a lot of cool British kids. It was kind of like right after the Teddy Boys and the the mods and stuff, and these kids are like sort of but it's before Chav, so they are in this different dimension of education and stuff like that, and this teacher brings respect and responses and brings them back to a place of conversing normally with other people. Pretty dang spiffy. There's one kind of like this movie that's in the US, and that's called Stand and Deliver. It's got Edward James Olmos in it. And yeah, that's a good one. But this one was really good, and the reality that I loved about it was the sincerity of the story and the persistence that these students possess. They're really working hard on doing some things, and they kind of do get away with what they were doing all the time. That's also interesting because the other British school system is the public schools, right?
Yeah.
This one's maybe called a private school, but it's actually got
that's a pretty public school.
Oh, this one is?
Yeah. There's private and public.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it was a good thing. I mean, like the teachers and the yep. It's all right. I'll just decline it. Yeah, the teachers were even doing like their own little things, and eventually they all end up at this dance, which is very John Huston,
Before John Huston.
Before John Huston, yeah. That's right. Anyway, it's a good story. You gotta love Sidney Poitier. Fighting racism, fighting you know, not being known as a bourgeois, but being known as, you know, sincere and working class and stuff. And how he took a step down in his characters took a step down in revenue and in salary or something like that.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So I mean, he comes at this character, and it's really got a lot of like glorious moments. Anyway, yeah. So those are really my opening thoughts. Just have so much. I do enjoy this movie so much. But go ahead, Lee.
Well, as I say, I thought I'd seen this before, but I think it's the song what I know more about. You know, Lulu to Say with Love. But what great casting! Sidney Poitier, genius casting. I mean, he was a powerhouse of an actor. But this role's subtle. But he can put across the gravitas of his determination to change these kids. What it just comes across out of the screen, you know, the force, his belief that he could change these kids for good.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to give up. He wasn't going to lose his temper, but he did. He did lose his temper. But they were pushing him, but he pushed back.
Yep.
Which, as I say about the end of the movie, they all love him. They all love it, you know. And they're leaving the school to better things, for jobs, and so yeah, it's not overly. There is some racist comments here and there, but it's not overly racist. It's subtle hints here and there, and it's mainly from one of the teachers.
Yeah.
Mr. What's his name? Mr. Weston, played by Jeffrey Belden.
Jeffrey Belden, who's a really great actor on Big Finish.
Yeah, no longer with us, of course, but yeah, them sort of racist little comments, where, you know, little undertones, but there wasn't over the top. There wasn't in your face all the time. And Sidney Poitier's character just took it in his stride. So, and then you get. I would say there's only a few teachers in this.
Yeah.
For a school, there's only about 6 teachers. But I mean, some of the other actors in this, you may have noticed. Patricia Routledge, who was one of the teachers, who we all know for playing Mrs. Bouquet
In to the Matterborn or something.
No, to Keeping Up Appearances.
Keeping Up Appearances, that's the one.
She's, you know, most famous for that, of course. You also had what's his name? I'm just looking at the cast list now. The head teacher, played by Edward Burnham. We all know him from, if you remember, his crazy hair in one of Doctor Who episodes, Robot, as Professor Kettlewell.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So there's some good actors in this. You've got Susie Kendall as Miss Blanchard, as I say, Patricia Routledge, Judy Geeson as Pamela, the young girl who sort of falls in love with Mr. Thackeray.
Yeah.
Which they didn't really put into the movie, because in the book I think they have a relationship. but I think this was omitted from the movie, and
Oh.
the author of the book wasn't too keen on them omitting all that. So,
Oh yeah.
but it still worked. There was sort of a little undercurrent of that, you know, but nothing really happened on screen, of course. Yeah, it is. It's a thought-provoking movie. It's a nice movie as well. It's you don't have to have a high IQ to understand what's going on here. You could, you know, they said you can understand why people like this movie. So,
Oh wait, there's also Stuart Bevan as a schoolboy.
yeah,
And didn't he just pass away
he did. Yes.
like 3 days ago?
No, we about 2 months ago. But and you also had the group, the Mindbenders, playing at the dance as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice little movie. And a little tidbit for you: the music by, come on, do you know who the music for the movie was?
No.
Ron Grainer.
Oh, from Doctor Who's theme song, The Greatest.
Another Doctor Who connection.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so there's some of my opening thoughts on this. Any moments what stand out for you, Susan?
Yeah, when they all are end up in the teacher's home and stuff. That was really great. And the inside the teacher's lounge, that subtle back and forth between the racist teacher and Thackeray. I don't know. That was, yeah.
He wasn't being racist to him. It was his. It was just the way he was at that time. This is what people was thinking and saying. He wasn't being vile to him. It was just little comments here and there, but they got on all right. They were found talking to each other, and at the end of the movie, they were sort of laughing and joking. And
in the dance, yeah,
but it was just the era this was made. You would get those little comments here, little comments there. Mostly made it innocently, but people didn't think anything of it back then.
Yep.
But nowadays it'd be a problem, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is a problem.
Yeah,
it was back then, but people just had to, I guess, ignore it and go on. You're right. Let's see. Yeah, the music was great, and the theme song was, something that Lulu will never be able to. People don't remember much else besides this song. No, I'm just kidding. This was the masterpiece song of her career. I think it wasn't her most famous song ever.
No, her most famous song, well, in this country, is "Shout."
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And she also just said did this one. She also did "The Boat That I Row," "I'm a Tiger," the Man Who Sold the World.
Yeah, you're right.
Wait a minute. The Man with the Golden Gun.
The Man with the Golden Gun, yeah, the James Bond theme, yeah.
All right.
So, man, what? She was on Absolutely Fabulous, what, like 6 times or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Along with Baby Spice.
And the thing that was really great was I had a song done by I had this song, crooned by Johnny Mann singers when I was growing up. So I heard this song quite a few times. I really like it. It's a beautiful song.
So, yeah, it's a well written song. The lyrics are brilliant.
Yeah, and I love how they kind of interlaced it through the whole movie, like little bits of it and stuff. And like this other movie that we're going to review tonight, that there's another song that's woven through in Convoy. So like it's just fun that they've that these two pieces are interwoven. I don't know. I loved the scene where he's like, no, you tell me what we're going to talk about.
Mm.
And the only time he was shying away from it was when the head teacher was there looking in the window. But other than that, he was, willing to discuss anything with them.
Yeah. I mean, he was a gentle teacher, but he was when he lost it, when they were burning
The sanitary napkins.
he absolutely lost it. Threw all the boys out the room, turned on the girls, called them sluts.
Yeah.
No, didn't he say sluttish manners or whatever?
Yeah, but he was literally calling them sluts, wasn't he? So I mean, that was the only part in the movie where you went, whoa. Because he was so cool and calm, and then all of a sudden, poof.
Well, I mean, I love the movie, and I read the book when I was not even a teenager. And of course, the book's a little bit more racy, and they said that students were having sex in the halls. And of course, I don't know what your opinion is, but at the end, you can't help thinking a little bit that in this case, he's sort of the black savior in a way.
Oh yeah.
You know how they've made a big deal because the other issue is, I mean, the Western world's always had some racism against Black and Asian and Indian and Native American and all that. I mean, deep down, everybody's human. But the other thing is, it's also based on the time, and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s were, very racially charged, and you could be a lot more, negative and closed-minded, and very few people would correct you. But as you've mentioned, All in the Family was based on a British sitcom. Sanford and Son was based on a British sitcom. Good Times had a British version of their show. Who's the Boss but that's slightly different. That's more class and gender related. Who's the Boss? Even though Tony Danza is Italian, and they really played up the Italian stereotypes. And of course, we have good stereotypes and negative stereotypes as well.
But Sidney Poitier, this one, it kind of lives above a stereotype.
Well, yes and no. There was the sequel, and the sequel was a little bit more racy. That was a movie in 1996.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you didn't hear Lee when he said that Thackeray and one of his students were actually in a relationship in the book.
Right, I remember that. I remember a little bit of that. And then, of course, as you know, there's a lot, I sort of made the joke that even South Park made about how do I reach these kids, even though on the South Park, it was more of the stand and deliver movie, and the you have to deal with the stereotype of the Puerto Rican Chicano, that. So I mean, that's the other thing too, is that it also runs through. Like I'm actually trying to find that 70s movie with I think it was Albert Finney or somebody else. Can't remember the name right now. This guy playing like a Trump-like character in a school, and the funny thing was, it was produced by Brute Cologne or whatever, but it was a British movie, the Class of Miss O'Neill or whatever.
Oh.
In the 70s with Glenda Roberts, I think her name was Glenda. but I guess she's an MP now.
It's all right.
But anyway, the funny
Back
thing
to
is,
this one.
right? The funny thing is of all the teacher movies, because wasn't Sidney Poitier in that original one from the 50s, the Blackboard Jungle, and it had Rock Around the Clock and all, but that was in the 50s.
I don't remember. I didn't know.
So it's kind of funny how all these, even Michelle Pfeiffer played a teacher with black students. You know, even though that was a female and that was
Well,
more rap
that
and all that.
That was Dangerous
Dangerous Minds.
Minds. Yeah.
So what do you think there, Lee? Do you think that it does have a place in the race, class, gender,
Teacher.
the teacher kid movies kind of?
There's so many movies where that's the theme. As you say, the 50s movie with Poitier. Then you see you got this in the 60s. They did it in the 70s. They've done it in every decade. They've just updated the storyline, swapped the things around, swapped races round and stuff like that. But yeah, it's saying something.
Yeah.
But say the racial undertone is not. It's not overplayed.
Right, but the other thing was, it's like, I mean, it was the classroom was all, what do they call them? Students at risk? Is that what the head teacher said? I don't remember what he said exactly, but it was like that. And students at risk, and like, these students were great motivator for the the depth that Thackeray goes to.
No, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I don't like the sequel as much.
Okay.
But I mean then I don't know how many British TV shows. I think there was one. Can't remember the name of it right now. Where it was a similar thing, and then
Grange Hill.
I'm not sure. They had of course the American versions of The White Shadow, Welcome Back, Kotter, but that was on TV though. That wasn't in the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids feeded Thackeray. He fed off them. And the more and more he fed off them, the more and more he was determined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was great. That and he said he was going to leave at the end, wasn't he? But it's but of course he stays.
Yep, he does.
So yeah. So let me ask you, Lee. Do you think that the book and the movie are good? Do you think it's just a slice of the prejudices and the stereotypes of the era? Do you think it's still applies today? What do you think?
I don't think there's any stereotype in this. It was just of the day of a movie trying to say something. And I think it did say without really overstating it.
So you don't think the Cockney was a stereotype?
No.
I love how they were teaching him rhyming slang though.
Well, no, I'm just asking because obviously I'm not English, so I'm just asking. You're closer to it than I am, so I'm just asking.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a stereotype. It's just character.
So you don't think that anything in the movie was stereotypical, even though like there was an Asian girl there, but she was incredibly quiet, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So. Okay, sorry.
It's all right. I'm just. You're
asking.
just wandering away from the microphone, and you won't be able to be heard at all.
Okay, no.
You should come back here and speak to the microphone.
What I was saying was, like at the end of the movie, when the girl gives him the little cup or whatever, the little present, the Asian girl has almost no lines in the movie.
Well, maybe she didn't have any lines in the book.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But at least she got to give the gift.
Right.
So I don't think there was any stereotypes at all, really. it was. I think it was just across the board. It was a little movie with a message, and it gave the message well.
The message was to that you get
So-
more, you get further along in life with a lot of
If you
Yeah.
want to get along in life, you need to book your ideas up, put some determination in, and you'll at the end of it, you'll get what you wanted.
yeah,
That's what it was really. And as I say, he worked off the children worked off him.
yeah,
They fueled each other's fire.
yep.
So did you bring the part up about the confrontation
What confrontation?
in the gym or whatever, the PE class?
Oh yeah,
Funny how that seems very similar to what happened recently.
yeah, yeah. Get the two of the students were getting at it, and then they slugged the teacher.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was another.
But you see, also as well with the PE teacher, with the making the fat kid jump the horse.
Yeah,
It's not stereotypical because when I was at school, we had the fat kid at school.
Yeah.
We had a PE teacher what was nasty.
yeah,
So it is true to life.
Well, no, but the lesson
we did too.
yeah, but-
we had it too.
the lesson from Thackeray of just because somebody makes you mad, you just can't take a weapon and hit them.
True.
So I said, "Oh, funny how that seems relatable."
The best way to win an argument is to with words and conversation.
Yeah, so I think that Alex is referring to when Will Smith slapped Chris
I
Rock.
know what he's referring to.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, you should have thought of that, but now he's got a 10-year ban.
Yeah, no,
I'm just
I-
amazed that he still hasn't been arrested. Because I mean, they didn't need to. Chris Rock didn't need to press charges because it was on telly.
Yeah, Chris Rock kept his calm, didn't say a word. So he was the better man.
Yeah, and he's always been the one who's been, right down the money about the whole, supremacy thing and racism and stuff like that, and he makes great fun with that. But this time he was just taking on somebody whose hair was really short, and
But it's just comedy. But if you want to take it, know, God help him if it was Ricky Gervais hosting.
right.
I actually don't seem to remember this. I guess in the book there was a confrontation with a racist waiter in a restaurant. And I'm trying to remember that. It's been a long time since I read the book.
All right.
Yeah. Let's say that wasn't in the movie at all. So to say there was a lot of things missed out of the movie. What was in the book?
Okay.
I don't know if that was timing issues or maybe the director producer thought we just better leave that out of it. We'll just concentrate on this bit.
Yeah.
So anything else you'd like to say about To Say With Love?
It's a good movie.
Well, to me, it proves how a good actor Poitier was.
Yeah.
And a very underrated actor as well.
Yeah.
Because in his lifetime, he only made several big movies, successful movies. In his later life, he'd turn up here as a cameo in a movie or whatever, a supporting role. But his mainstay was his big cinematic successes was in the
50s and 60s.
and 60s. Yeah, he popped up every now and again as in other movies in the decades to follow, but his mainstay was back then. But a good role model.
Yeah.
Good role model. So, anything else?
Well, as we mentioned, there's a sequel 30 years later, and the fact that originally the book was set, what, in the 50s, right? It wasn't really set in the 60s.
I don't have any idea.
Like I said, I'm sorry that I let me see. If I had a copy of the book, I mislaid it, but it was a little racier than the movie was.
So, and yeah, go ahead.
Final say the score then.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good to see it again. I just love Lulu, and I love Sidney Poitier, but so this is going to get like a 9 out of 10. It's a really good thing. Would you like to rate it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, I read the book and saw the movie when I was like 11 or 12, and I was always taught that, I mean, again, some people might complain because he's sort of older and he's more dignified, even when he played in, in Mr. Tibbs and all that, which some people would argue is a similar, right, is a similar character to Thackeray in a way. But of course, Sidney Poitier did slap people in the movies, but they were racist, and it was very clear they were racist. So I don't know if that's necessarily justified or not. But again, everybody forgets that, you can be, you live in the decades you live in, but 2022 is different than 1968 or, whatever other decade you were in. But I mean, I was always taught that he was very dignified. Unfortunately, he was in some movies with Bill Cosby, but that was a slightly different character. But one of those movies was about teaching wild kids. So it's kind of, it was called A Piece of the Action. So it's kind of funny how, that sort of the trope of how do I reach these kids is sort of, and I don't know. What do you think, Lee? Is that sort of an indictment of the Western school system or something, or is it the society breakdown? Or
I would say it's more society.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of movies like that, English and American. It seems from the 50s to the 90s of sort of this. This sort of indictment of schools and of society, which is a little bit sad. But thankfully, it's not a huge. Well, I don't know, because then you have, shootings and all that now the last 30 years. So I'm not sure, but like I said, I really like the movie. I like the characters that he plays.
What were you going to give it up?
And except for A Piece of the Action, I don't have a huge problem with his movie career. I'm going to give it a 9 because of the way that he's dignified. He's actually more dignified and more stoic than almost all the other characters in the movie. He doesn't seem to go to temptation, although there's a little bit of a savior complex, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
the sequel is a little different. It's a little bit more modern. It's not bad, but it's not as good as the first movie. But like I said, I like that he's showing a different, character, and you can tell that he's cool, but he just doesn't. It wasn't. I don't know if that was the style back then. Talking jive and talking British jive and all that.
It mostly was.
Yeah. So I mean, right, but I mean, it's still right, but it's still not a bad character, though. Like I said, I know some people that probably say, "Oh, this is really, sanctified." So I don't know what you think about that. I mean, would you say that this is a black savior saint kind of movie, or is that a bad thing? Or is it just because, remember too, like the black exploitation films, Louis Gossett Jr. and Isaac Hayes and Nichelle Nichols said, we had to find work, and it was showing different characters.
Yep.
Just don't take it 100%. That's all.
I don't think this was a black savior thing. I just think he was the ideal actor to play that role.
Right.
It was, it's a great actor. I don't go down the black savior route. That's not me.
Yeah, but
So, okay.
right, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's plenty of movies like that. Yeah.
So let me ask you, what's your say about this?
Well, it's always good to see a movie with red double-decker buses
Yep.
and red post boxes.
Yep.
It's truly British. Yeah, enjoyable, thought-provoking, and by the end of it, you do feel for him when they're singing the song to him, giving him the gift, and then he realizes he's done some good.
Yep.
He's appreciated. Yeah, so for me, yeah, I'm going to give it 9 exam papers out of 10.
Nice.
They, according to Wikipedia, he got 10% of the gross,
Yeah.
and it's anywhere from 21 million to 42 million. So,
There you go. So it was
like
good
I said, the sequel is a little different though.
business. So that is our little review of To Say With Love. You guys out there, let us know what you thought of this. What you thought of if you've seen the sequel, as Alex has mentioned, let us know what you thought of that. Please, if you want to join us, get in touch, message us. We're on Facebook, Twitter. I've got a little Instagram, YouTube, of course, where this is going to go up. Leave a message there. And on YouTube, please press the bell notification button so you'll be notified every time we put a video up. If you want to join us, please be 18 plus, because some things we review, discuss, we just feel better if you're 18 plus. Please have a laptop, PC, tablet, mobile phone, even with a working microphone and camera. We'll get the Zoom up and you're in. That's all we ask of you. So, anything else, Susan? Have I forgotten anything?
Just subscribe, and when you subscribe, hit the bell notification.
Yeah, I'd already said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just spaced out today. Sorry.
It's the delay.
Yeah.
So that's our little. Let's say we're finished now. So I thank Susan, Alex for taking part and watching this movie. You guys out there, come and join us. It'll be fun. Bye for now.